Good evening.
I believe in another level of luxury, says our guest tonight, the designer Pierre Hardy. An icon in the fashion industry, he marries elegance with bold colors. Born and raised in Paris, Hardy's mother was a dance teacher and his father a physical education teacher. And growing up, he had no plans to become a shoe designer. For 15 years, he was a dancer and then studied fine arts at École Normale Supérieure. His later studies in applied arts led him to teach scenography. And at first, he perceived the world through movement and then slowly moved towards product. Quote, experience taught me how to address an accessory that will constrain the body, transform it in the proper sense of the term, he says. His foray into fashion started as an illustrator for Vogue International and then Italian Vanity Fair. In 1987, Hardy became a stylist at Dior for women's shoes, and 3 years later, he got a call from the designer Thomas Meyer, who at the time was designing at Hermes, to come and to meet the team. It has been 27 years that Hardy has been designing for Hermes, and in 1999, he launched his own brand, Pierre Hardy, which includes shoes, bags, accessories. We will talk about this tonight. I believe a lot in the imagination, he said. Perhaps this explains how he can put himself in other people's shoes. His versatility and ability to translate other people's vision is unique, as seen in his collaboration with Nicolas Guesquière on his shoe collection at Balenciaga and with Gap and other brands. His style is bold yet so refined, and his designs reflect a signature all his own. After all, says Hardy, there is nothing more powerful than taste. Please join me in welcoming tonight's guest, Pierre Hardy. So Pierre, I should introduce the idea to the audience that when our guests come to FIAF, guests like yourself, we ask them to put together a slideshow that tells their story. It's kind of a visual narrative that allows them to sort of reflect on important chapters in their lives. It takes them a lot of time to put this together, I should say. So it really is an important part of this program. And I don't usually start necessarily these conversations chronologically, but we have an opening slide that read, atypical background, which is kind of hard to ignore as a cue. And so I think we're going to start from that atypical place, which was your young age, when you were very artistic, but not necessarily destined for a path to be a designer.
Not at all.
At 13, you started off as a dancer. Tell us a little bit about that passion of yours.
Yeah, it's far away. I lose my hair. So yeah, my parents were very physical, and they tried to make me as poly as possible. So I tried everything: judo, rugby, and whatever, gymnastics. And then my mother was dancing, so I was watching her doing a class and saying, "Oh, that's I like it." And step by step, I started dancing. I mean, it's too late to be a proper dancer and a professional dancer.
By 13?
Yeah, by 13, yes. Yeah. So, but I worked on it. I became sort of a very good amateur, I would say. And but the drawing was another part of what I loved best, and that I only was doing actually because I was so bored in school, except for drawing.
You didn't like school?
No.
What did you not like about it?
It was always the same thing. So it was every day. So every day.
Was there something that you liked about school?
No, I really loved it when I started my studies after baccalaureate. When I was 18, and when I started drawing and painting and fine arts studies. But before that, all I remember is boring and anxiety and scare and repetition. So.
Is it true that you wanted to dance for the Moulin Rouge?
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to go to the Moulin Rouge when I was 10. Of course, I've never been. But yeah, it was fascinating. Fascinating.
What attracted you to that?
The fake luxury, I think, the sparkling, also the perfection in a way of it, because it's so recurrent, it's so rehearsed, it's so repetitive that in the end it's just like a moving painting. It was the feathers and the girls and everything, just glitter. Yeah, fascinated.
In 1974, you joined a dance company called the Mathematics Company.
Yeah.
And it combined, for those of us, I learned about it when meeting you, ballet with jazz, a kind of freestyle. Was that something that felt very new to you at the time, that you chose that particular group?
Well, very new for me, certainly, because the mathematics was a US choreographer. He used to dance in Hollywood and did some musicals, and then he had his own company in Paris and coming very soon from France, married a French woman, so he was there. So I started to dance with him. He was old at this period, he was younger than I am now. As a posing for dance, he was quite old, and so he was such a good teacher with a very American way to teach the dance and rehearsal.
That was very different than dance was being taught in France at the time?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
How so?
I think there is a very specific aesthetic that you can feel even to La La Land, for example. There's a very different way to dance, to express feelings dancing. So it's maybe for you it's sort of a classic, but for French people it's very specific.
And was it quite freeing coming from French?
Free and very expressionist and very happy also in a way. So because I used to dance in some modern class and contemporary dance that was very austere, very focused on the breathing inside and how to express all these kind of inside feelings. So it was totally different, much more for the show, much more for the public also.
You were 18 at the time.
Yeah.
Did you think that was going to be your future?
Future. I think that very quickly I understood that life as a dancer was not exactly what I wished, because it's very difficult, it's very hard, because it's very reclusive also, and it's really it's not that open that can seem from the moment you see on stage. There is 99% of the life of a dancer is behind, confronting yourself to your own image and to somebody that is always judging you or what you're doing, and it's never good enough, and it's very physical also, and it's difficult, and there's not that many opening on the world. It's very introspective.
Do you think that the discipline of that life had an impact on your work ethic?
That's for sure, and also on two very different points. The part of the rehearsal and learning and the classes and all this part that is very about the control and about how to achieve something very precisely and how to estimate your own body and to play with it in a way, to regulate it, and then the moment on stage where you learn how to appear to the others and to show yourself and to move yourself regarding somebody else. And I think this is not that far from fashion in a way.
Right.
Fashion is a way to appear to the other, how to transform yourself, to transform your image, and to be at your best. And I think this stage experience helped me in a way for
your later career.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what did you learn about movement that you took with you later, looking back?
I think what I learned about movement dancing were the limits, at which point, up to which point you can go before falling, or before hurting yourself, or before being wrong or bad. So I think that's very important. And
which would come into your designs later,
mm-hmm.
right?
I hope.
Yeah. You went on to study plastic arts, which involves sculpture, ceramics, three-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
How did you transition from working with your whole body to focusing more on movement through your hands?
Yeah, there was a very interesting moment when I was in this the little company that I was also taking care about the visual, the costume, some sets, some aspect like this. So it allowed me to combine all these different fields, I would say. So it was very interesting for me to dance in the costume I myself created and designed it. So it has been quite a natural shifting from leave on the side the dance movement,
yes,
and keep going on to creation, to painting and other things.
That's right, because during those years in the 80s, it appears you're constantly evolving.
Mm-hmm.
by the mid-'80s, your eye sort of turns to illustration. You've taught scenography, and you start working for Vogue International and for Italian Vanity Fair. What kind of work were you doing for them?
I was doing all the fashion reports for the shows in the entire world. So it was a magazine that has 2 issues a year, so twice a year. I looked at all the shows in real, in Paris or London or some places, or photos, and make a selection and make some illustration about it to present it in a different way than just make slide shoot in the magazine. So it was interesting, drawing a lot.
But it's interesting because you started off as an observer.
Exactly.
And so how did that sort of inform your work? What were you observing?
Probably the silhouettes, because when you do a report about a show, you have to be quite focused on the essential. So to define what is the silhouette at this moment and this for this creator or this town at this moment. So it was very important to sum up what was it in this instance.
At what point do you start looking at shoes?
First was as illustrator for some magazines or for trend office. It doesn't exist that much anymore. Trend office,
yes,
that propose some trends for some brands that have no inside designer or things like that. So I was proposing ideas, illustrating shoes collection for magazines. So I was looking the shoes first as an object, as a subject more than other, and then someone looked. Drawing me, say, oh, apparently you can drawing shoes. So what if instead of illustrating somebody else's collection, you draw your collection for some little brand in France at this time? I said, yes, why not? I tried, but I didn't know if it would work or not, if people would love it, if the result would look like the drawing. So it sounded like this, but really genuine, very organically and step by step. It's difficult for me to say that there's a moment where I decide,
right?
Oh, okay, now I'm a shoe designer.
Is that when you start at Dior?
Not even. Not really good. No, because I'm quite atypical. I don't know if it's but complicated for sure. Because I was doing all this while I was teaching. Because my studies was very classic and academic studies, and I was supposed to be a teacher. Fine art teacher. So after my diploma, I was supposed to teach, and I did. And I just stopped actually 4 years ago now. So
you went back to the classroom.
Yeah, exactly. So all this came with the teacher part of me. That of course in the years became shorter and shorter, but still.
And so tell us about when you first step into fashion. You start to work at Christian Dior as a stylist.
Yeah.
And that's a big shift for you.
It sounds like a big shift today. It was a long time ago. and the business, the fashion business, the market, the brands, even the groups were not existing how they are.
So tell us about what it was like.
It was more genuine. I think they proposed me to do the Dior collection. I said, okay, why not? And it was the store, the shop collection, the license collection, the couture collection, and the ready-to-wear. So it was a big thing. It was a big collection. But for me, it was not so impressive at this time. And actually, that's where I learned a lot how to work on the collection. Because Dior was, even if it was not what it is now, it was already the biggest brand in the world, maybe bigger comparing to the others that were not that big at that time. So it was a bigger, and the first thing that people say in the street, what is a fashion name? They say Dior, spontaneously. So it was very important. The different way than today. So yeah, so that's where I learned how to build a collection with a for brands, with logos, with gimmicks, with icons like the color, the certain motif, the signature, all over, and so on. So and that's where I learned how to deal with and to combine what I was loving for myself and what the brand need as a product.
Was the cycle of fashion, did that include a certain amount of pressure back then? I mean, surely not like we have today, but it was enjoyable.
No, yeah. No, so I was freelance, so it was really, I went to the studio for 1 day or 2 day a week, and I was doing my job. It was not included in this everyday life pressure or drama or whatever.
I want to sort of open the door to the chapter with Hermès, which is a beautiful chapter and ongoing. In 1990, you get a phone call from Thomas Mack. Tell us about that.
Well, we're good friends. We're very good friends. We see each other every time, every week. So we said, oh, by the way, and just entered the studio because at this moment, Hermès was totally changing his process about fashion and building a studio with different personality, different designer, doing different products.
And then, for the audience, before it was not like that, correct?
No, before it was just a little collection, more like lifestyle, some styles that were continuing. That I didn't know exactly what happened before, but when I started, it was really a new way to do fashion. And there was an art direction by Claude Gouet, that was at this time one of the goddess of French fashion. So she decided to cast a different personality, different designer, and to make them work together. Very complicated. Of course, because when you join 5 or 6 different personalities, each one different from the other, it's become quite complicated. So I was there in charge of the shoes, and that's how I started. And very interesting.
And what were your first impressions of designing for Hermès? What did you feel right in the beginning?
Okay. No, Hermès was not a fashion brand. It had a very special status in the landscape of all the brands that are doing ready to wear. So that's what I loved actually, and probably that's what pushed me to try and to. So I did some sketches, maybe 20 or something like five groups of sketches, and showing to say, okay, this would be my dream shoe if I was doing the shoe for this collection, for this brand. And she said, yeah, you're right. It could be the right one. So once again, it was so simple. The things was it sounds like a dream or like naive today, but it was really so person to person, and it took maybe 10 minutes to be there. Yeah. I know.
It's another world.
Yeah, it's another world. Yeah.
You have created many beautiful items for Hermès that I'm sure we're all familiar with, but one of them is the Oran sandal, Laurent. It's the one that has the strap that looks like an H.
Yeah,
but of course it
by
is.
chance.
Totally
by chance, I can swear. Please believe me. Because at Hermès there is a theme each year about all the designers are supposed to work with. It was the year of Africa. So I was looking at this book about the Ndebele tribe, where the women are painting the wall of the houses, and there were those patterns, very geometric, bright colors, beautiful. So I said, oh, that would be nice to have maybe a motif pattern for a shoe. And I said, Africa, what is the type of shoe? So as simple as possible, just a sole and a strap, and almost like barefoot. So I just pick up a piece of this pattern on the wall and put on the sole, and until I put on the feet, I didn't realize it was an H. And of course, when I saw it, I noticed it was, and then the rest. Bestseller last 20.
That's correct. It is a bestseller shoe, absolutely.
But this is exactly the kind of thing you can calculate. I think it's impossible to say, oh, this is going to be the bestseller for the season, of the year, and for the 5 next year, for the 20 next year. This is something totally impossible to calibrate.
So you bring a really interesting point, which is when you're designing, what you're saying is you design through just pure design, with not an eye towards what may work or may not work. Is that correct?
Yeah, because I don't know how to do elsewhere, a different way. I don't otherwise. Yeah, yep. I don't know what is. There is no recipe. only experience can give you the reflection of what is working or not. But because we anticipate so much, I'm now finishing the collection of next year. Let's wait. Which year are we finished? Next winter. So winter is done, next summer is done, and we're thinking about almost a year and a half ago. So what can I say? How can I know what would be the best time? I don't know.
That's so honest of you to say. I love that. But it's true. You design from a place of creativity. You're obviously inspired, and we see some of the images here about from art.
Caravaggio. Very simple to be inspired. Caravaggio, for example, is just to say that.
Tell us a little bit about
because while I'm doing, it's always commented as geometric, graphic, architectural, minimal, or whatever, radical, or color blocks, or this type of word that was always very simplification of what it is. But I love Botticelli and I love Caravaggio, of course, and Caravaggio and all the classics. It's something that is behind everything, and it's funny because it's really funny. Because 2 days ago I had a conversation by phone for a magazine with Bob Wilson, and the same. His work is supposed to be the modern, abstract theater things you can see, and he is totally inspired. He himself talked about classicism and how classicism animate all his work, even if you don't see it at the first glance. And for me, it's the same. I would say, and there is this. I think it's maybe because I'm French or European. I don't know. It's something that I've been nourished me since such a long time, and that I learn also to appreciate. It's not something that happened to me yesterday. It's something you get used to slowly, and it stays, even if it's behind. But I hope there is a trace of it, something of it still even in the modern way to express it.
And because these were early references for you as well, in education, in French education.
Or even models, yeah.
Absolutely. You also do design custom jewelry, correct, at Hermès?
Yeah.
And the haute bijouterie.
Yes.
Tell us a
when
little.
When you say custom, is I only do the precious one.
The precious one.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what it means to design those lines.
Okay. First of all, it could sound weird to say, okay, I'm a shoe designer and I'm a jewelry designer at the same time. But that's another part of the magic, I must say, of this brand, Hermès, that because of his president, suddenly I was showing him the shoe collection, the drawings, and before the season, and I said, oh yeah, perfect, right? It's fine. And he said, but by the way, would you be interested in jewelry? Yes. Maybe. You should do it. It took 2 minutes, and I started the day after, and that's it. It was 15 years ago, or 16 years ago now, 7 years ago. So you see, it's really like, when I say everything I did was so organic and so, sometimes random, because frankly speaking, if nobody asked me ever to do it, I would never thought about it.
So it wouldn't have come to mind?
Really.
What do you enjoy about designing jewelry?
I love it because it's different from the rest of what I'm doing. It's not the opposite, but it's very different. There's a part of the job that is similar. The creativity is a moment of searching ideas and the stories, themes. This is, but the translation into different materials, different range of products, and different know-how, different atelier, working with different atelier, that makes the thing very different. And on another hand, what is very different is the timing of in fashion. Of course, we all know that we have to now, especially now, we have to give a collection every 2 months, every 3 months, and another. Actually, that's what pleased me, and I like this dynamic, this perpetual movement, and it's very it's a good motive for me. With the jewelry, we have time. You need time, actually, because sometimes to find the right stone, or to cut it, or to mold something very specific pieces, it needs time. It's tries different mock-off and so on. So the timing of the process is very different. And then the timing of the object is also very different. And that, I must say, it's a big satisfaction for a designer, I think, to know that, okay, fine, you do a shoot, it's perfect for a season, it's perfect for a year, maybe. Maybe it's perfect for 1 week, and then be ruined. Because, especially in women's shoes, it's something very fragile and ephemeral in a way. But doing something, knowing that's going to last basically forever if nothing dramatic happens, it's another perspective, and also it's a different point of view regarding how I'm working on it.
To have longevity of your work is really nice.
Yeah.
You helped design the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And I'd love you to talk to us a little bit about how that came about, and also that marriage between technology and traditional luxury.
Okay, it's a very narrow field of what I'm doing, because first of all, because I just did the bracelets, the leather bands, and things like that. So my mission was to think about what can you do as a MS bracelet for an Apple Watch. What was interesting for me as a designer was how to link, I mean, really technically, how to link the high technology and the high quality luxury leather goods, and to make them work together. And frankly speaking, in the beginning, I was totally I was, is it a good idea? I was wrong, totally wrong, because it works so well actually, and for both of the brand, I think it's really like a combination of two perfection, any of them in each own kind, but and working together with the team, because we met several times in Paris and think about it, it's very interesting.
Would you consider working on other wearables, or that was just its own specific project?
Of course, yeah. No problem. No one say if they ask me. I mean.
Over the course of your career, you've collaborated with many designers, notably Nicolas Guesquière, who was at Balenciaga. What was it like working with him?
Okay, that's another very different branch of collaboration, because I wouldn't say that my MS position is collaboration. It's much more than it's like to be pretentious, my second family, my second house, because we know each other since so many times now, so it's really that. With Nicolas, it was very different. We are a very good friend before working together, so it was immediate. It was something that there was no hierarchy position, there was no ranking, there was no, and I was so happy at this time. When it started and when it became to be very famous, it was #1 of the young designer in France, and I was so happy to be the second after him and be behind this success and help him to achieve what he was doing at Balenciaga. That was the most interesting thing that was happening in Paris at this time. So it's always, it was a big compliment that he was doing to me, asking me to work on that. So it was so experimental, so ahead, so different of what all the rest of the fashion was doing at this time, but it was a very exciting moment as designer.
You strike me as quite gifted in your ability to both lead design, but also to help translate the vision of somebody else. Not everybody's capable of doing that. What do you enjoy about
it's funny because I have the feeling that it's my everyday job in a way. Like for myself, I'm a translator. I'm always trying to translate for some other people what I'm feeling inside, or what I'm wishing inside, what I'm loving inside, and trying to transform into different shape, into something visible and something sensible you can appreciate and touch and wear and enjoy. So it's what I'm doing for myself. I'm doing this in another way for MS, and that's what I was doing for him. But his fantasy was in a way so far from mine, in a way that it was interesting to try to understand and to put shape and to make this fantasy into shapes.
Are there people in your life that have acted as mentors? Somebody that may have guided you throughout your time?
But me, probably freedom about who cares, what they think, what the other kind of think. You see, the freedom of creative, and go ahead. Always, that was a big lesson. And searching non-stop.
Searching for what?
For something new, for something different, for something better, for something. It's endless. It's an obsession to me, really. And then maybe I'm much more. I would say lazy or no. Yeah, no. I'm not kidding. I'm more into the pleasure, maybe more into the satisfaction, into the enjoying. You know, he's more into let's go see what's happening next. So maybe it taught me something.
And the energy was invigorating for you.
Oh yeah. Not easy always. No, really, but very. Yeah. And also, I think Jean-Louis Dumas at MS was in another totally different way.
The late chairman of MS.
Yeah, because yes, it was so visionary. I mean,
tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, who else in this world, in any industry, would ask a guy who's designing this to designing a car? Or you're able to do I don't know what, you're going to do exactly the contrary or something totally different. It doesn't exist anymore. Now you're looking for someone that's totally calibrated, efficient, at instant.
And targeted.
Exactly.
But he was not like. So he encouraged you to think across different.
Yeah, encouraged me. He just pushed me. He just said one word, and it was a battery. It was okay. Do whatever you want, but don't do Place Vendôme. You know, Place Vendôme is the place in Paris where all the jewelry institutions are.
Yes.
Windows and atelier. So actually, at this moment, I didn't know what was Place Vendôme was meaning because I was not a jewelry aficionado, I would say. So I learned, and that was it.
And is it true that he encouraged you to start your own brand label?
Yeah, because I was working at MS in 10 years. So and once again, this idea to have my own brand came step by step, and I was working, and while working, I was noticed that there were some ideas, but no room, no place in this collection I was doing for Balenciaga, for MS. So I faced it and say, okay, let's create a space for that, a brand for that, and it happened. And I decided to launch 15 models in my own living room and call the press and say, hey, I'm doing some shoes, and come to see it. And I've been lucky because it worked.
Did you have a sense early on of what you wanted to create, what you wanted to achieve for your own life?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Tell us about that.
I wanted, if you look at the first, where we are now, but at the first drawing, but they are dry. I mean, they are rough. No easy, no charming, no, it was something really, I think, retrospectively very strong. And nowadays, I'm not sure that I would propose the same, knowing what I learned. Of course. I was totally naive, and even if I was working for other brands, for other name, and when you start by your own, it's totally different. It's another story. You have to reconsider everything you've been before.
Your language is different.
Oh yeah. You're alone. you're nude and in front of everybody.
And it's interesting that you bring that up because you said in dance there are moments where you're very alone. You clearly love collaboration. You like working with other people. What was it like being on your own, creating?
But once again, I've been lucky, I must say, because the first reaction were very welcoming. I must say, American press was very enthusiastic. Really, thank you, because it was not the same in France, you know. So I must say, I was really, and the buyers too. Neiman Marcus came and they bought the first collection. Miracle, frankly speaking. But I was saying to me, okay, if I sell 1,000 pairs the first season, I would be happy. And it was 3,000, so okay, I was 3 times happy. So when I say lucky, it was really lucky, because once again, it was not easy. It was badly done, the quality was not there. The idea was there probably, and that, thank you for that, they really understood that, but it was not perfect, far from perfect.
And Pierre, when you started your line, if you had to finish the sentence, you know, I want to start my own line of shoes because I want them to be
new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's but still now, I think it's what animated me. It's newness. That's why I'm a little bit reluctant about some trend nowadays that's very about the past and about looking back. Of course, everybody's looking back. Everybody has memories of what is elegance, what used to be beautiful, how this silhouette was nice, and so on. And of course, we want to recreate sometime. But I think as a designer, what I love is to try to recreate in a different way, with different means, with different. So yeah, newness, I think, is really what I would love to reach.
Over lunch this week, you told me, I hate prints. They're too busy. The cube perspective is between print and the texture, and can become what you want. How did that sort of cube perspective come about? And how did you realize this is for me?
I don't know, if I remember well, I think that it was a big season with prints. All over. It was years ago. And so I had no prints. So I did stripes. Okay, stripes fine for summer, stripes in winter doesn't work that well, less well, I would say. Stripes in summer and winter. So let's try to find something. So I draw these cubes, and that was quite abstract in a way. And also I loved it because it was like a classic that everybody can recognize in a way, even if it's we touch it, it's a bit different than the classic pavements that you can find in Venice or wherever, so it's antique all the time. So I transformed it to something more graphic, more Bauhaus, something like that, and it became like an all over, like a wallpaper, like a skin. And with that I could cover everything, make bags, jewelry, shoes, anything. So it's for me it became like a texture, not as much like a pattern or motif.
How is your sensibility different when you're designing for women than when you're designing for men?
I have two different jobs, totally.
Can you describe which one?
Yeah. There's a beautiful phrase from Yohji Yamamoto a long time ago. He said, when I think about the boy, they say, hey guys, let's go. And when I think about the woman, say, may I help you? It's beautiful, no, really. He said that in the movie with Vivre a long time ago back. And it's really, when I'm working on the men collection, it's much more selfish, and the guy I know and around me, and say, okay, what we need, what we love to wear today.
Your frame of reference.
Yeah. And me, myself also, of course, because I'm wearing it and the first consumer of it. But for women, it's much more different. It's not really a fantasy, I think. It's also the kind of woman you want to address, and also the kind of woman you... Of course, sometimes I want to help them, I want to be kind to them, I want to be helpful, in a way. Because I think sometimes fashion is not that kind to women.
What do you mean by being kind?
There's some positions sometimes that are a bit nasty for women. Of course, I know in the collection there is a 11.5 centimeter heel, and that's not kind. I know some girls like it, some people love it, actually. But it's not only to be kind. It's not only good, but in a way, it's not to be too. If fashion becomes a torture, I think it's the limit. It's really so. I try to stop before that and to propose toys to play with yourself, to play with your allure, your silhouette, and to transform it, to change from what. Yeah.
You also, it's not about heels all the time. You design sneakers.
Yeah.
It's a huge market.
Especially for men.
Is it going to keep evolving? And if so, how do you see it growing?
Well, I think we're making a limit between sneakers and the other shoes. I think it's very blurry now, and it's just one of the shoes women can have to wear because we're living this way. It's just a lifestyle. You don't think about it. You wear it if you want to be more comfy or more, but also more fashionable sometimes. I think it's really a fashion item nowadays. It's a signature for some silhouette but also the main thing that attracts everybody to sneakers is the use. I mean, it's a best shoe to look younger. you win 10 years wearing this. I'm not kidding. If I wear sneakers today with this black suit, I look younger. and every woman,
Next time,
yeah. Usually, yeah. No, really, I think youth is very important. It's totally unconscious, I think. But the sport, I think, is one thing. But I think the feeling of the young age and this dynamic and this energy, probably unconsciously, psychologically, is what push you to buy them and to wear it.
Are there other accessories that can sort of suggest youth? I'm open to ideas. Sneakers, anything else? Or is it just a symbol of the sneaker? You think it's unique to that particular item?
Yeah, it's very, because it comes from a universe of unconsciously it's your memory of college, your memory of efficiency, sporty efficiency, movement, dynamic, speed. So all these together make you think that you'll be better with that. Makes you better.
What's your favorite color?
Black. Surprisingly.
Why?
I think everything looks beautiful in black. Better. No, there's different. No, my only color I love is red. So if you're talking about color, black is a more efficient color to make something more theatrical. Look where we are. Everything's black, and we are in the middle, and everybody saw us better than if we were a white, a blue, or a green background. It's like this. It's physical. It's optical. I can say, and so that's why the shop prices are mostly black. That's what everybody's complaining. But I think you put anything on a black background, it looks better. It looks more obvious.
And in your home as well, I saw there was a story.
There's quite a lot of black, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's very beautiful. You've said that you believe in another level of luxury. What does it take to make a truly luxurious accessory today?
Oh, it can mean different things. For example, if I refer to MS, I don't want to speak for MS, but there is a permanent research of achieve the best way, the best material, the best quality you can reach. So in the end, the product is something that nobody else can produce this way. And I think that people understand it and see it and feel it. It's not the product is more fashionable, more, I don't know, but it's so much more well done that it brings to it a quality that even if it's not touchable, but you notice it, and that probably makes the success of what MS is producing in any type of field. For me, it's, for fashion products, it's a little bit different. I think originality and creativity and newness, once again, is something that people are reaching when they're coming to my store to buy a piece of my collection, because it's something they know it will be not reproduced in 1 million times. And some shoes we produce sometimes in one color, 50 pieces, 50 in the world, entire world, in specific combination of colors or materials. So people know that, and they know that it's going to cost this price. It's going to be a luxury product because it's a rare product. So rarity and exclusivity is one of the questions of luxury today. And also because, of course, we know that there's this massification of distribution and luxury brands.
Yes. Yes. I mean, how do you reconcile that with your vision?
Don't ask me about that. It's too complicated. I think fashion is a weird moment of changing, shifting. So yeah, everybody experimenting different way of distribution, of showing, of communication. It's a big mess actually nowadays. Yeah, it's much more regulated, but less regulated than it used to be. So I don't know. We'll see.
You said that you like working at a fast pace, but the fashion cycle today is at such a frenetic pace.
Frenetic.
Is it sustainable?
It depends on for me as a drawer and a designer. It's very easy. I can draw 1,000 pair of shoes a day. It's not a problem. The problem is when you make it and when you have to manufacture it and to deliver it and to sell it and to communicate about it. So all this together is a lot of work and needs to be done properly with intelligence. And so that's the problem too. My creative role is that I'm not scared of that, of this rhythm. And actually it's exciting, weirdly, in a way. There's more, okay, it's never ending. But then the result has to be in relationship with this demanding and this, with this level of creativity. So that's hard. The making is hard.
I have one more question for you, and then I know that there will be questions for the audience. But this year you were nominated president of the first fashion accessories jury for the Festival Vivre. Can you tell us first a little bit what that festival is, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
Yeah, so here it's a little town south of London, nearby Saint-Tropez. And since 30 years they organize an international fashion festival for young designers. So there's 10 candidates and one prize. And for the first year, a few years ago, they had the fashion photography. And this year they had the fashion accessories. And they asked me, the founder, asked me to be the president of the first issue of this festival. So I built a jury with American people, British people, German people, very different French people. And we worked together for 4 days to judge this.
What was exciting about what you saw in this next generation?
You know, I've been teaching 35 years, yeah, since I'm 25. Yeah. So I loved it. I really loved it. I loved all the way. I stopped 4 years ago because I really didn't have any time to energy and focus, because teaching needs more focus and creation, more than any business, because you have 20 students, very sophisticated and elaborated, that are asking you for 8 hours to understand and to get into their own fantasy, their own projects. So it's very demanding. So I stopped 4 years ago for that. But I enjoyed all my years of teaching because it's apart from the business, apart from the market, apart from the money question, apart from the marketing and everything. So it's just refreshing to have some hours just to think about what is creation, why I'm doing this, how I will build this project, how I will nourish my ideas, and how I will, which shape I will give to this project. So it's so, without thinking about a collection, how to sell it, which price, no. This is art, and just thinking about creation, pure creation. So I really, and to come back to the festival, there is something like this in the festival. You have to deal with this young designer. Most of the time, their first collection, and they put everything they have in this collection and try to get into the project and to try to help them, because it's not only judging, it's also helping them to progress and to give some advices. And we are 10 people for very different range of and different type of job in the profession: journalists, photographer, buyers, and so trying to make them clear about what they are doing and what they show. So that's why I accepted.
And what advice would you have for young designers today?
Well, go for it, but but be true. Be true and just do what you really love. And that is the most complicated thing, is to know what you really love. And that was what I was teaching actually. It was to make them find where they are the best and where they will be really happy to be successful, not pretending to be, I want to be an advertiser, I'm going to be, a shoe designer, I'm going to be a fashion designer, whatever. No, are you sure first that it's exactly what you want to be? And are you sure that it's a range of thing that you can do at your best. So I think for this, you have to really realize that it's the only thing you want to do because all the rest of the world is against you. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Why? A new one? Why? Why another one? So you have to really to convince everybody that, yeah, because.
Absolutely. I'd like to open it up to the audience because I'd love to be able to include some questions. There are a lot of you here. And I'm sure that you have some wonderful questions for Pierre. So if you'd like to sort of raise your hand, there are some mics that are going around. And if you wouldn't mind just waiting for a microphone and just standing up, that would be great. I think there's a microphone right here.
What was it like working with Jean-Paul Gaultier when he was at Hermes?
It was very fun, very different. I had a very different experience at Hermes because the part I explained to you with the studio, and then Martin Margiela, that was another thing, and then Jean-Paul Gaultier. And I knew Jean-Paul before because I had friends working with him, and Nicolas Gisquet actually was assistant in Jean-Paul Gaultier, so we were a bunch of friends. And so I knew him very well. So the relations were very easy and very fluent and very, very direct. So it was fun, very fun. I loved it a lot because I think his job at MS was very generous and very holistic. He was taking the entire brand, the prints, the silk, the leather, the horse, everything together and make them work together. So I think it was very interesting for me as an experience. But yeah. Not complicated because it's crazy. So the generous.
Yes, in the back.
Hi. So I'm a new designer in jewelry, and I'm having trouble now with exposure. And so I was wondering if you had any advice on how to get more press as a new designer, or what the best outlet is.
Okay, I have no advice, no idea. It's totally good, no, especially because I'm working, the jewelry I'm designing is for MS, so the brand is before me and is acting as a big picture first, so of course. Then, you know, for the rest, I have no idea. I'm sorry.
But I would say
Where are you?
Can you stand up?
I have a lot of high heels.
Congratulations. Yeah.
I would say over 75% of them are so uncomfortable. Like not the height, but either near my toes or my heel part. There's so much the blisters I get are horrible. I'm just wondering as a shoe designer when you're designing, I came up with so many ideas why don't shoe designers think to put a Dr. Scholl's type of a thing, or just these really soft, supple, lambskin leather or something like that that's cheaper, that won't just be so hard.
Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty.
What is it how come they're so?
Okay, you know what? We're trying to make you more strong, more elegant, more fashionable, more, I don't know what, but more comfortable. That's my job. That's my job. My job starts just after that. My job starts, because this is a manufacturer job. When you deal with the manufacturer, he has to assure you that those shoes will be well done, with the best leather, it will not hurt. We don't have a stud hurting you, or I don't know, the height of the heel going behind, or no. That's a job when you, especially in luxury shoe, you have to know your manufacturer, and that's a deal. And he has to assure that the shoe will be efficiently and comfortable, whatever. My job starts just after, to make this beautiful. And to make you forget that it's uncomfortable.
Yes, yes. Do you want to stand up, please? Thank you.
How do you go about selecting the colors, and how do you figure out which colors to put next to each other on a shoe?
Okay, that's a very interesting question because I was totally scared by colors when I started, and I always say that I'm not a guy for colors. I only love black and white and some red, maybe. So the first, really, no, I was really scared by colors. And the first collection was 3 colors: black, white, and red. Yeah, and that's it. So, and no mixing. Only all the shoe, the inside, the sole, everything was one color. So, to explain you that, it really is, and I learned, actually, doing it season after season, I really learned how to combine and to play with color. And it also became such an important thing, especially because the rhythm of fashion changed a lot, that you have to propose a range of different fantasy around the colors. So now it's a real playground for me, but it was not in the beginning at all.
Yes, in the middle, if you'd like to stand up.
Thank you very much for
Sorry.
sharing your time with us. My question is, how is it that you're able to separate and balance the Pierre Hardy that we see from your own brand and the Pierre Hardy that we see designing from the House of Hermes?
Schizophrenia. It's like the usual comparison. It's like for an actor. It's weird because it's something that asking. It's a question for into fashion or creation, but for some job, like an actor, for example, can play in a James Bond movie, in a big production with among 10 others, and then having a solo show on stage in a very tiny theater for months. And it's a little bit what's happened to me. Sometimes I'm playing in a big orchestra, in a philharmonic with Hermes and all the teams, all the people working together, and sometimes with my little quartet, my own private concerto, and with the team. And so that's how I see it. It's composition. It's playing with at different level, but the job is not that different.
We're going to take 2 more questions, and I'm going to let the person who's got the mic speak.
I wanted to ask you where you were teaching and who were your audience. Were they new designers? And for how long should a new designer
So I was
keep following your...
Yeah, I was teaching at l'école Duperré, which is applied art in Paris. One of there is 4 national schools in Paris. It's one of them, and the students they were preparing a master, and they were in the 4th and 5th year of study of applied art or fine art, because they were coming from even from different schools and working together, and coming from very different fields of creation. And they work together and follow them on the personal project for 2 years.
So in France?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, one more question, please.
I'm very happy to hear you speak tonight. I'm a former editor of Vogue and Mirabella and Harper's Bazaar. And I had 2 questions for you. When you worked for Dior, at Christian Dior, did you work for Mr. Dior or for Yves Saint Laurent, or?
Oh, no, I'm old, but not that. It was that 30 years ago. I worked with it was a moment when Jean-Franco Ferré, right?
Well, could you tell us a little bit about working?
Excuse me?
Could you tell us a little bit about working?
You know what? There's not much to say, because it was most of the time was in Italy, coming to France for a really short time, working in the studio. It was at this time a big star. So very, very nice to work with, but very, very few contact actually.
And then my other question is, can you tell us, the Hermes brand is so strong, and it would be very interesting to hear from your perspective. There are so many of the big fashion brands that, have sort of peaked and valleyed and come back, and some haven't. And yet the Hermes brand, even though they bring in these new designers who have such different points of view and perspectives, the brand itself has remained so strong, so powerful. There isn't, I don't think, a person on the planet who doesn't want to see an orange box. So it would be really interesting to hear your perspective.
Yeah, as we said before, I think the one point is, I think Hermes is not a fashion brand. So maybe the answer is this, that they don't try. actually to be a fashion. Fashion at MS is a word. We do ready to wear, we do beautiful clothes, we do beautiful items. Fashion, if it's fashion, fine, it's welcome, but it's not obviously the aim, you know, and that's one point. So that's why I also make them last, and through different moments, different waves, and different direction of creativity. And then also, as I said before, I think the way that any object, even the ready-to-wear, so let's say fashion is done, is very different from other brands, because they are not looking for being extravagant or amazingly splashy or whatever. No, they're just trying to make it as great as possible and as luxury as possible. So it brings a very different point of view of how you made it and what you're doing as a clothes collection, I think. And maybe this is the reason why they're still at this level.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Pierre, for joining us tonight. Thank you for